Well, you had a very big fan of this weekend's sermon and my daughter, Layton, because you gave a shout out to Thanksgiving.
Right. She loves Thanksgiving.
She loves Thanksgiving. And for people that don't know, she was born on Thanksgiving Day almost 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so she very much loves Thanksgiving because it's her birthday. It's right around her birthday. And so she always gets very frustrated once Halloween's over, everybody's in Christmas mode. And so she's like, people forget about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's a good holiday. You know, she almost takes it personally that so many people skip Thanksgiving. So she very much, I'm sure, would be very grateful for the shout out for Thanksgiving. You know, this is a topic that's really close to Laura and I's heart is gratitude. So this series is always a great reminder on living that grateful life. Right. So when did you start doing kind of this more gratitude, focus on gratitudes type series?
You know, I've taught a Thanksgiving sermon every year of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, for 40 years I've had but I've only done a few series actually on gratefulness, gratitude, but it's good because I think there's something psychologically that's good for people when they pause to give thanks. They quit aspiring for more for just a moment. Yeah. And they just, you know, look where you've come. Mm-hmm. I mean, and part of that is, you know, sometimes looking out the front windshield of the car, you can't see exactly you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's around the corner. But when you look in the rearview mirror, you know where you've been. Right. And Thanksgiving is a time of looking in the rearview mirror and saying, look, I've come a long way. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not exactly everywhere I want to be, but let's not discount the fact that we've all come a long way from where we started. Yeah. Well, and, you know, with Laura, she's counseled a lot of people in her tenure as a therapist, and gratitude is something that she really, really focuses on because it's such an important value to have and a perspective to have. Agreed. And so this is a great reminder of that, but it's also something that it's like we need to be doing this all year. And it's a discipline like with any other discipline. You know, it's like people want to go on a 90-day fitness challenge, but it's like, no. Do that forever. Implement these things that are going to give you a good benefit for your whole life. And gratitude is one of those things. And we really started focusing on that a few years ago in our life, just like literally just as simple as just your eyes opening in the morning. I'm thankful for life. Yeah. I'm thankful that I have a bed. I'm thankful that I have a roof over my head. I'm thankful that I live in a beautiful place, that, you know, we have all these amazing things just right at our disposal. And so the life of gratitude is a discipline because you have to kind of get there. Because social media, as you know, it's the worst thing for gratitude because you're constantly comparing yourself to everyone's life and their experiences and what you perceive them to be. Right. So I think an enemy of that is perfection. Yeah. I want my life to be perfect. Right. And it's not. Well, and what does perfection in life even look like? It's only in your mind. Exactly. And that's usually a distorted mind. Yeah. But I mean, if we can just get to the point where we say, you know, I'm grateful today for where I am. Mm-hmm. I know it's not perfect, but it sure is pretty good. Yeah. And some people go into depression because their lives are not perfect. I see people that go through a lot of stress and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And sometimes what they could do, if they would, is realize that if I just look how good my life is, maybe it would help my sense of inadequacy or my depression or my issues that I have about anger or resentment or competitiveness. So there's just so many good things that could come from a grateful center. Right. And God is good. I mean, blessed me. Wonderful kids and, you know, grandkids, and you got a wonderful family. You got 2 beautiful girls, and you know, every day that's something to be thankful about. Yeah. Now, are they perfect? No. Well, none of us are. No. And would we want them to aspire to be better? Of course. Right. But at some point in the cool of the evening, we take a deep breath and say, "Wow, I'm grateful for where I am." Yeah. And that's a wonderful place. Well, and so many times when talking about gratitude, it's very much a focus of like inward gratitude. Mm-hmm. And it reminded me of a quote because you actually pointed it out as well. So Adam Grant, he said, the point of gratitude is not to just feel it, but to show it. Mm-hmm. And so I was really happy when you got to that point in the sermon that you're like, okay, it's good to be inward and be grateful for the things that you do have,
But gratitude is also a verb. You got to go out and do it. You got to show. And what gratitude does is it inspires you to be helpful to the people around you, because when you're coming from that mindset, it's this inspiration. And it reminded me of the story from last year with Ian. What happens when you have people, all it takes is one person. And one person in my neighborhood started going around with a screwdriver asking people, hey, do you need help putting your shutters up? He's like, I've got hurricane windows, so I don't have to do my house. So I'm walking around, and every time he went and helped, more people joined. And then all of a sudden there was a group of guys going around helping people put their shutters up. And so those good acts of like, I'm grateful that my house is okay.
Right.
I've got the hurricane windows. He could have easily just sat in his house and be like, all right, I'm good. I'm thankful for these. But it's like, no, he was like, I'm thankful for these, and now I'm going to go out and help.
Right.
And so it's infectious. And just knowing, not just, you're my boss, but you're also I'm your son-in-law, you're my father-in-law. I can personally say you do such a great job of looking at the positives and being so grateful for the things in your life. So it's not only that you're just preaching these sermons, but you actually do the things that you're preaching.
Right. And I think that's important. And the thing is, I don't know how else to live. Mm-hmm. It's not a discipline that I try. It's just part of who I am.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, I want to do it more. I mean, I think we can all be a little more thankful, a little more grateful.
Yeah.
And the times in my life where I really been under stress, and there are times that we're all under stress.
Sure.
I think the antidote for that, or the salve, the ointment that goes on that, that helps me is to pause and say, no, I'm grateful for where I am today. Come a long way, and I'm not there, but I'm grateful that I'm on the journey, and I know God loves me right where I am, and I'm so thankful. Think about the lost son. He was away from his dad for a long time. Even if I just go home, my dad will. He treats his servants better than what I'm being treated.
Right.
But there was a confidence in him to go back to his father, that his father would in some way accept him. And we live that confidence in our life and realize that there's never a day that goes by that God doesn't love me, that he doesn't care for me. And when I'm blind to that, or I lose sight of that, gratitude, I think, is that grounding principle. We come back and say, no, I'm in a part of this, and I'm in for the long haul, and I truly am grateful. I've been grateful for what? Good health, reasonable health, strength, the ability to think clearly, getting up, and being able to exercise in the morning, all the things that we do.
Right.
Some people couldn't do that.
Right.
I spoke recently this weekend to a guy that was out at some place, and he was talking to a kid that was like 16 years old that was in a wheelchair, completely paralyzed. And he said, I was talking to the kid, and he said he was answering me with his eye movements. He said, how was it? And he'd go up and down. Yes. Do you like the food here? And he'd raise his eyes up and down, just his eyeballs up and down. Or he came down here on a plane. Did you like the flight? No, he didn't like the flight. But you begin to look at that and go, do I have anything to be grateful for? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even that guy, in that state, probably was thankful that he could move his eyes, thankful he could communicate, thankful that probably somebody was talking to him.
Yeah.
So it's all relative.
100%.
But when I see how fortunate I am, shame on me if I ever get to the place where I play the poor me card, or things are not working well, or, hey, I got a paper cut. People don't know how much I go through. I have a paper cut. Come on. It's just, it's a point of absurdity.
Right.
But we all should take a deep breath and say, God, I am thankful. I have more wealth than I ever thought I'd have. He said, well, are you wealthy? No. But we don't pay credit card interest. We live a certain frugal lifestyle. And you keep living that for your lifetime, and it pays off.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you go, well, we can do what we want to do. Well, are you grateful for that? Absolutely. Is that it's just certain disciplines you follow. And one of those disciplines is regularly give thanks to God for all the things. And sometimes I muck it up. And he comes back and goes, yeah, that's okay. We'll see what we can make out of it and see if we can make it better.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, the beauty of living this life of gratitude is that you find opportunities for those perspectives, So gratitude, I'm grateful for the things that I have, so I want to help people that have less. And then you're exposed to those moments of like, man, That's, this guy talking to this kid in a wheelchair at 16 years old gave him a perspective shift in his life, and just thankful that I can just walk.
Yeah.
And so those opportunities can come when you live this way. And I think it's a better way to live, and I'm happy that you touched on the theology of this as well. You had a moment in there that it just kind of reminded me of like, okay, what my view of God is going to be how I treat other people. Mm-hmm. And if you have a distorted view of God as an angry deity that's going to send you to hell for 1 billion years if you don't believe in him,
right?
Then yeah, you probably won't live a life of gratitude as much as you should. But viewing God as the loving Father, that no matter during the good times, I'm thankful for the blessing. During the bad times, I'm thankful that he's there with me.
Right.
Is such a good perspective on that. Because God, we're not promised an easy life. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I'm going to have an easy life. But knowing that God is always there with me, that I'm never alone, even when I feel like I am, is a very comforting thing. And it's something that inspires gratitude.
I agree. I think that's well said.
So we've got 3 more weeks of this?
2 more weeks of this.
2 more weeks of this.
Troy's up this week, and
okay.
then I'm up the next week, and then we're launching into 4 weeks before Christmas about Christmas fog.
Okay.
And talk about, what is it that can help burn off the fog this Christmas? Yeah. Where can the light come through? And we're just playing on it. But it'll be we'll deal with some of the traditional themes at Christmas time, and then we're already looking at the new year and how we're going to launch the new year and what's going to come. So we have lots of things in the forecast, but this is a good place to be, great time to be alive. A lot of good comments are coming back to me via email and just in personal conversations about how that this community is changing their lives and helping them, and that makes our hearts sing. So
absolutely.
We want to help people, and for that we are grateful.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Well, Larry, is there anything else you want to add to one more thing?
Nope. We'll catch you on the weekend.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for being on.